Hello everybody, my name is Gordon and I will be your first presenter, followed by Kimmy and Andrew doing the culture topic, and SK Denis, Jerald doing the social topic, and for final, Kimmy is closing the presentation for today. But first, I want to talk about the block of success. So, we are facing two problems. The first is culture. The second one is social. So, imagine as student waking up for success, but they are blocking the push to go up for success. And we need to break this, become a successful student and keep research our goal. So, I want to ask one question for you to think about it. And you can answer the question. Have you experienced an misunderstanding between you and your groupmate? Yeah. So, we are come from different country, different city, and each place has different language, such as my group. We have come from China, Hong Kong, Indian, Philippines, Kenya. So we're talking a complete different language, such as Mandarin, Cantonese, and also Indian, etc. In order to communicate, we have used English to discussion. But it has some headed like accent we can't really understand. That is why we are facing this problem when we're doing the project. I think we need to share the idea when we're doing the project or work. That's why we have to have some borrowings. However, we need to work together. Don't laugh at each other and try to understand that to have a good communication. This is the first one about the social borrowing. Alright. Second is cultural borrowing. They are such as some during school life. You may have confusion. First, some of the benefit and their way of thinking with case misunderstanding that are all different. It's like it will become an objective of communication. However, some problem like discrimination, it will become more and more misunderstanding in it. If it's serious, there will be conflict. There are big wall blocking our vision for success when we are going to sharing world. We need to break this wall first. Then we go to future more to be success. So this is the first information for both. So I will pass to my groupmate and they will talk more information about social and cultural borrowing to academic success at university.
Hey, this is Jimmy, and I'll show you the cultural barriers to academic success at university and solutions to overcome these barriers. First, we must know what is study. Study can be understood as a kind of information transmission. Lectures pass the content of various fields to students through different ways, and the information exchange and the communication between students. So it all depends on the communication and information exchange between people. In uni, there are a lot of people who has different cultural backgrounds, which lead us to the difference in the way of expression, thinking and dealing things, even the values. This difference may affect the information transmission and communication between each other and become barriers to our academic success. Language is the most basic and direct way of communication. Different people from different cultural backgrounds will use different languages. For example, Australians speak English, while people from other places speak Chinese, Hindi, and other languages. This is not a big deal because we can all use English, but sometimes language is still a way of expression. People with different cultural backgrounds have different ways of thinking, which may come from different historical backgrounds, educational backgrounds, secular concepts, and even beliefs. In other words, language culture can be divided into high and low context, which will lead to communication, conflicts, and inevitable to continue. If this barrier is not overcome, it will affect the progress of study. Just like what I said, study is a kind of information exchange and communication. And how do we solve this problem? First, we should respect the culture of others. Do not be too direct and too subtle in the way we speak. Focus on the topic we're discussing and communicate in a way of thinking that is acceptable to everyone, such as from an objective perspective. When we look at problems, to subjective thinking is often limited by cultural background. Sometimes, cultural differences are also reflected in the way and method of dealing with things. Under different cultural background, it can be divided into individualism and collectivism, which may bring barriers to teamwork. There will be a lot of teamwork in our uni life, and this presentation was also completed by teamwork. Individualism people are more likely to find their own task, pay more attention to individual performance and ability, and work harder on individual results rather than being responsible of teamwork. Collectivism people are more likely to conform to the group, lack of independent opinions, do not know how to refuse and choose the task which is suitable for their ability, and seldom express their own ideas in the group meeting. They will lead to low efficiency of team cooperation and uneven performance of team members and task distribution. In order to better cooperation, each member needs to learn to self-evaluation. Do not be too proud. Also, avoid weakness to develop your strengths in the group. Through self-talk to learn yourself, what is teamwork, and pay attention to team cooperation rather than self-centered. The most important thing is to learn to communicate with other members, help each other and listen to different opinions, give useful feedback or ideas through thinking. Cultural differences can also create barriers to other parts of language, even self-values. Then let's welcome Andrew.
Thanks, Jimmy. Hello, guys. My name is Andrew, and I'm going to talk about the barriers, cultural diversity, and deviation of values. Cultural diversity, which may cause incomprehension and unhappiness among students. I find a very good example to display the diversity of culture in between classmates. When my classmate and I discussed the content of the speech, I saw a sentence has wide with two places, which are the Hong Kong and China. It looks like two places. The first thing I didn't think my classmate is intentional, then I asked him to modify the sentence. He may not modify the meaning of that sentence, but it's alright. It's just that he doesn't understand my culture and the history that I know, so I didn't blame him. Therefore, I think of making friends or communicating with others in university, we should keep an inclusive attitude. The words of the other party may seem disrespectful to you, but it's their culture. The most important element of communication is to understand each other. Students' value determine their passion for something. Deviation in values causes students to be less motivated by what they perceive as lower value goals. For example, when students are faced with a lower score and high score assignment, they will put all their energy into the high score assignment instead of completing the lower score assignment. The possible result is that assignments with high scores are not high quality, and assignments with lower scores are not completing on time. This deviation of values to unsuccessful study in college. The solution to this bias is to have a positive mind and using time management. A positive attitude can motivate students to finish their homework. Students will feel satisfied when they get a grade for every homework. While time management enables students to have plenty of time to finish all their homework efficiently and reduce their sense of busyness. Every country has a different culture, and the university is just typical multicultural collection where people from different cultural circles come together. This kind of environment can cause a lot of obstacles, even language barriers, with other or cultural differences that result in teamwork. And cultural diversity and deviation of values are just a small part of the problem. The next my teammate SK will be going to show you the barrier of the social part. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew, with that wonderful explanation about the cultural diversity. But let's move on to the next topic. My name is SK and I would be discussing about the topic social. I believe social barriers are the external influences that interrupts our goals and long-term goals. A social barrier includes opinions and actions of others that affects our daily lives. Social barrier could be used as a stereotype thinking. Here are the few examples of social barriers. Since society stereotype that men as poor performers in mathematics, it may allow them to think that this is a natural cause, resulting in them performing poorly in mathematics related subjects. Another example of social barrier is that if a student say an extremely optimistic goal, then society would not believe on his goal the time it is practically achieved. Moreover, a child's ability to interact socially with their friends has a significant impact on their process of learning in classroom. The very act of learning in classroom involves interacting with students, talking through problems and finding solutions. But society doesn't think that it can be a reason to impact a learning of a student, which can create a social barrier.
Thanks, SK. Hey everyone, my name is Denis and I'm going to talk about social media as one of the problems and challenges that hinder success. Under this, I'm only going to talk about the disadvantages. Social media is divided into multiple networks. Examples are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, and etc. Some of the disadvantages of social media in the classroom are students who tend to use technology, including the social media network sites, on a regular basis tend to have more stomach aches besides sleeping problems, as well as anxiety and depression. Also, the use of social media in the classroom is highly known to distract students. Students today now rely on accessibility of information that is available on the social media platforms specifically, as well as the web in general, in order to get answers, which means there is really reduced focus on learning as well as retaining information. Also, students are attempting to multitask. They are trying to check various social media sites while they study, which is leading to reduced academic performance. These social media sites have grown so popular in a very short time. Since the information gets published in a fast way, this has actually created a lax attitude for using proper spelling as well as grammar. This is making the students not be able to even to write effectively without the aid of the spell check feature of the computer or on the phone.
Thanks, Denis. Hello guys, my name is Jerald and I'm going to talk about inclusion, the barriers and the solution. Fears. This is the most common social barriers and obstacles of inclusion. We're often afraid of people we see as different, so we choose not to interact with them, or perhaps we don't want to be annoying or offensive. Overcoming fear. People are people, and we're all different, but also similar in the ways that make us all human. Some people like casual conversation and some don't. Some appreciate help and some others don't. Our difference need not prevent us from being connected. Human connection are worth the risk. Awkwardness is another example of barriers. Sometimes we don't know what to say. We see only our difference and we don't have the right words to connect. People and differing abilities are often used to being treated differently or sometimes even ignored, so they don't have the expectation of being included, and behavior may appear unapproachable because of feeling sidelined. Overcoming awkwardness. By altering our thoughts, belief, and behavior, we can diminish the awkward feelings. We all have difference, but we can find a common ground. That's how we make connection. Eye contact or kind voice can be the first step to inclusion and unification. Now I'm going to hand over to Kimmy to finish the presentation. Thank you.
Thanks to my team members for talking about how communication, values, and culture differences hinder us from studying in the university and how to solve these differences. And I think it is precisely because of the impact of this culture that human beings can progress. We should put aside the progress again. Different culture accept the culture difference of different culture. Help each other and quote that saying human nature is good matches. One sentence is from matches. We should put aside of different races, genders, and values. Put aside our inherent progress and accept each other. There are what we should do to make the university truly an acceptable place.